Francesco Bagnaia heads into the 2025 MotoGP season finale in Valencia with visibly shaken confidence. Ducati's performance has dropped sharply since Marc Marquez was sidelined after the Indonesian Grand Prix, and the two-time world champion now finds himself carrying a weight that once seemed shared. Bagnaia is facing yet another difficult weekend as he arrives at Valencia. Marquez's absence has exposed a sudden and dramatic decline within Ducati's camp. For the past 4 main Grand Prix races, not a single red Ducati has reached the podium, a stark contrast to their previous aura of superiority. Ironically, Ducati's last moment of glory came at the Japanese Grand Prix sprint and main race, when Bagnaia and Marquez delivered a commanding 1-2 finish. What followed, however, was a collapse no one anticipated. Bagnaia has crashed in 4 consecutive main races, and his only realistic podium chance at Sepang vanished due to a late race puncture. Despite the setbacks, Bagnaia has refused to blame the machinery beneath him. In his view, the Mercedes GP25 remains a strong package, but one that he personally has struggled to unlock. "This bike has huge potential, Marc already proved that," Bagnaia admitted. "But for me, it has been incredibly difficult. Honestly, I'm not sure there's much I can take away from this season." He insists that he has continued to adapt, refine, and push to remain competitive, even when the results appear out of reach. Bagnaia now pins some hope on Tuesday's post-race test, where Ducati will attempt to determine the next direction for the GP25's development. A large portion of his belief in the bike comes from the astonishing numbers delivered by Marquez early in the season. Across 36 races, including both sprints and full Grand Prix, the 8-time world champion stood on the podium 31 times, taking 25 victories. His only non-podium finish without crashing came in the Indonesian sprint. Since his injury, however, Ducati's form has unravelled. In the 8 races following Marquez's withdrawal, Ducati have scored just 1 podium, Bagnaia's sprint win in Malaysia. The contrast is so severe that the Italian rider can no longer deny what he believes is the fundamental truth. Marc has made the difference all season. If he were here, he would also be making the difference in these final races, Bagnaia said bluntly. As the Valencia weekend approaches, Bagnaia has stepped away from high expectations. His priority is simply to close the season with dignity and rediscover some stability amid the mounting pressure within the Ducati garage. Bagnaia's comments are unusually candid and reveal several deeper issues that have been brewing at Ducati in 2025. Marquez's extraordinary ability to adapt to aggressive, front-loaded machines has masked a broader compatibility problem. The fact that Bagnaia, once the benchmark Ducati rider, is struggling suggests the GP25 rewards only one very specific riding style. The statistics are brutal, with Marquez 31 podiums in 36 races, without Marquez 1 podium in 8. This exposes Ducati's reliance on a single rider's brilliance rather than a consistently strong lineup. Crashes, missed podiums, and a teammate who previously carried the team have created the perfect storm. When a double world champion begins questioning what he can learn from his own season, it signals a deeper mental toll. Bagnaia's hope for clarity during the post-race test suggests a lack of consensus within the engineering department. The GP25 may need a fundamental shift, not just minor adjustments, to become universally rideable. For Ducati, bringing Marquez back healthy in 2026 is no longer just an advantage, it may be a necessity. His absence has highlighted just how dependent their success has become on his presence. In many ways, Valencia has become the perfect stage for Ducati's internal tension to rise to the surface. What was once a team operating with absolute clarity and shared purpose now resembles a group searching for direction in the dark. Engineers, crew chiefs, and riders have all been forced into reactive mode, trying to patch performance gaps that were never visible when Marquez was still in the garage providing reference data. Bagnaia's body language throughout the weekend has also told its own story. He has looked increasingly withdrawn during media sessions, spending far more time behind closed doors with his crew than in previous seasons. Though he remains measured in his words, there is a sense that the gap between his expectations and the bike's behaviour has grown wider with every session. His usual trademark calmness is still there, but the spark of certainty that once defined his presence seems to have dimmed. The ripple effect within the wider Ducati ecosystem has been equally significant. Satellite teams, who traditionally rely heavily on telemetry and feedback from the factory duo, have been left without the benchmark that Marquez provided. With no consistent reference, development across the board has slowed, and even experienced riders such as Martin and Bastianini have struggled to maintain pace with the evolving championship narrative. As a result, rival manufacturers have sensed an opportunity. Both KTM and Aprilia have begun to push aggressively in the final stretch of the season, exploiting Ducati's instability. Their upward trajectory has only compounded the sense of urgency at Borgo Panigale. What once seemed like a comfortable advantage has quickly dissolved into a fear of being overtaken not just in race results, but in technological leadership. Ducati's management is fully aware of the precarious situation they now find themselves in. Although their public statements remain diplomatic, insiders suggest that meetings have become more intense, with serious discussions about whether the GP25 needs a strategic redesign rather than incremental refinements. The team is determined not to allow a single rider's absence, no matter how talented, to derail the foundation they have built over the past decade. For Bagnaia personally, Valencia represents something much larger than the final round of the season. It is a test of resilience, a chance to reassert his identity as a title contender rather than a rider dependent on another's success. Whether he can rediscover that sense of control remains to be seen, but his determination to finish the season on his own terms is unmistakable. What he lacks in momentum, he now tries to compensate with sheer grit. Ultimately, the 2025 season finale has become a crossroads moment for Ducati. The outcome in Valencia will not change the championship standings, but it will carry enormous psychological weight heading into the winter break. A strong finish could restore belief. Another weekend of struggle may force the team to confront even more uncomfortable truths. For Bagnaia, Marquez, and the entire Ducati structure, the next few days could shape the story of the season still to come. For readers who follow the ever-shifting drama of MotoGP, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. Fresh updates, in-depth paddock insights, and exclusive analysis will continue here throughout the off-season and into the 2026 campaign.